Listen, we're going to give God thanks for life right now while our brothers and sisters across the Caribbean are really feeling it. If you don't know what I'm talking about, believe you me, social media is lit up with different updates, all types of reports out of Jamaica with respect to Hurricane Melissa. I just spoke to some of my cousins this morning. And let me tell you, cell phone service is still very spotty, especially our hearts, our prayers, our thoughts, and our actions are with the people specifically in the southwest part of Jamaica, St. Elizabeth Parish. If you're like me, I have been watching and literally woke up crying this morning because of all of the devastation, all the videos. If you're on Facebook, if you're on Instagram, if you're on TikTok, you cannot miss it. This Hurricane Melissa impact will be with our brothers and sisters across the Caribbean for some time. Of course, there was loss of life in Haiti, Dominican Republic, Cuba as well, and Melissa is now on her way after passing through the Bahamas to Bermuda. So Melissa is not done just yet, but if you are like me, trying to figure out ways in which we can assist our brothers and sisters on the island of Jamaica and throughout the Caribbean, you are in the right place. I have some information about groups that are collecting items. I have been reaching out to former Mayor Dale Holness and others in the community that I see and I know who will be mobilizing so that we can get the food, the goods, the I asked my cousin who's in Kingston, like, first of all, welcome. Let me calm down because I'm always very impacted by what's happening in and around our community. But today we're dedicating this show to the survivors of Hurricane Melissa throughout the Caribbean. This was a harrowing storm. The people them in the southwest, when I tell you the looks of how much the landscape has been ravaged, I'm talking about all the way from really, I watch fishermen and folks living along the coastline. We have to remember in Jamaica, about 600,000 Jamaicans live within 3 miles of the coastline. So with that much waterfront property and homes made from, everything from cinder block to wood, there was indeed quite impactful pictures, videos, aerial shots, especially from places like Black River. The reports are that out of the Southwest, several hospitals, the roofs blew off, even with the cinder block homes. I was just talking to one of my cousins. I reached out to her, and she just got self-service. That's the other thing. When you're calling your people, you can't even see, or you don't really know if they're okay because the cell service is down. The first thing I was asking my cousin who's in Kingston, so I have several family members. I'll say cousin several times, but I have several family members. So I'll start with the family in Kingston, like many of you, with family members who are in the capital city of Jamaica. Kingston was spared, y'all. When I tell you, I don't know the prayers that's all, because of course somebody had to take the brunt, but Kingston as a whole, generally speaking, they were spared the fiercest. Now remember, they kept saying that even, not on the storm's direct path, but throughout the island, you would be experiencing Category 3 and Category 4. Well, firsthand, I was speaking to, again, my cousin is in the Duane Park, Meadowbrook, Patrick City area. I want to know that Boulevard. Yeah, right. That's all. So I was asking him because he's close to the mountain, and all I kept visualizing was with the amount of rain, because if you didn't know, up until the storm, Jamaica had a lot of rain like the week leading up to the storm as well. So the ground was well saturated. This is according to my other cousin who's on the North Coast, and most of my mother's side of family. My dad is from Kingston, the Kingstonian side, and my mom's side is from St. Anne. So that side, even though St. Anne was initially predicted to be in the main path of the hurricane, they were spared because it turned west. It had a leftward trajectory for some time. If you were watching it as I was throughout the days leading up to landfall, the Hurricane Melissa sat in the water, drifting west for quite some time before it made that northeast turn. So unfortunate for our brothers and sisters on the west coast of the hurricane. It was devastating, and we are going to be mobilizing the Voice of the Caribbean family, of course, and of course the nonprofits throughout our community. Of course, we are sitting here, and I can't even reach my St. Anne family, the countryside people, because They're from a mountainous place, mountainous village. I don't know if you guys know about Brownstone, Claremont, Yard Castle, Monique, them side there. So we can't get in contact with them. That's the tough part because the cell service is down. So our prayers, our thoughts, our support are going to be for a very long time with our brethren, those who are suffering right now, losing everything. Well, thank God for life. But I cannot imagine a category 5 wind and rain and thunder and lightning drifting over you. I don't think people can really understand what 75 mile per hour winds is really like, right? We think we know, but we have no idea. When that storm surge come, it is a different animal altogether. And like I said, we have so many coastal dwellers in Jamaica. Still, there are 25,000 tourists who are still held up in Jamaica. I'm believing that the Norman Manley Airport, that is the airport in Kingston, has reopened at least for the emergency flights for humanitarian relief. And I do believe commercial flights, let me get the latest on that for you, will be resuming very soon. My heart is also with the Prime Minister, His Honorable Andrew Holness, seeing him via his Facebook take flight over the most devastated areas for Black River, all over surrounding areas in the Southwest. It was heartbreaking to see people going up to him, hugging him, but just speaking about the horrors of rivers they have never seen climb their banking, little trickle streams really, that turned into gushing water to destroy homes, to destroy infrastructure, roadways. It is quite overwhelming, to say the least. Like I said, I went to bed looking at some of the horrific and very sad videos. Again, there's so much. I'm trying to balance myself because I want to be on an empathetic level with my brothers and sisters who are there. At the same time, you also have to, as just a person, like for me, I'm an empath, constantly thinking about it, just thinking about how many people have been just majorly, their lives have had major upheaval, displacement, them have nothing. They're going back to nothing. Food, no, I mean, shelter gone, the clothes on their backs are all that they have left. It is a serious situation in Jamaica. So we are looking at some of the latest reporting. According to CNN, again, you're listening to the Suzette Speak Show. I didn't even do a proper introduction because this is so heavy on my heart, y'all. From I spoke to, thankfully, 3 family members this morning, finally got through. The Kingstonians have, most of Kingston has been restored of power. Like I said, because of the westward trajectory of this storm and how it was holding. Melissa was moving very slowly and looking at it drift west and west. I was like, Lord, it is going more west than northeast, because at first St. Anne, my home parish, my mother's family, we were looking like they might get a direct hit. But unfortunately, the Southwest parishes took the brunt of this monstrous storm. And we are now just beginning to understand the levels of devastation. If you want to call me, if you have any type of nonprofit, if you are starting to gather people, items, I know I've been watching a couple of community leaders online speak about some of the relief efforts that are going on right now. I know there are collection sites and places like Juicy Patties around South Florida that you can drop off certain items. We're going to go over some of that. There are people who have already reached out, Sue, if there's any type of humanitarian mission, etc. So I asked my cousin, this is the one in Kingston. So I said, cuz, what can we be doing? Everybody in the family is calling me, hey, what can we be doing? How are we going to help, right? He said he's going to make the journey once, hopefully, the roads become passable, because that's the big thing. The infrastructure has been affected so much to a point where in order to traverse, you can't even get to the people. I think they're going to have to airlift a lot of relief supplies. I'm talking about steel, lumber, nails, hammers, things to rebuild, literally, homes. So he told me, this was just one person in Kingston who was civic minded. He used to be a president of the Kiwanis Club there in Kingston, all kinds of stuff. He's very involved, and I know he knows what's going on the ground. I was like, what do you think? Because people want to know. So he said he's going to try to, along with his several of his friend group, make a trip to the countryside because he can't even get in touch with so many who are in the parishes that have been affected. So he said he's there. They have trucks, thankfully. They have, chainsaws, things that they can use if they're going to try to traverse some of the most devastated areas now. And that's really throughout the island. And see if he could make it to um, the interior of the country so that we can hear from our relatives that we really haven't heard from because there's just no cell service. So half of the battle right now for a lot of us with family on the island is that we don't know. There has been, again, a cellular blackout. When I spoke to my cousin, she's a lawyer in Ocho Rios, I thankfully just got her. It just so happened that she had intermittent cell service. So when I called her this morning, she was able to pick up. I said, "Cause Wagwan, how is everything? How are you guys fare?" She and her daughter hunkered down. They have a 3-story house. They went down to the basement. She said, for the most part, even though they weren't in the direct hit in the St. Anne Parish, but she said the wind was she here, and she wasn't in the direct path. But they got some of what they call the dirty side of the hurricane on the way the winds rotate. That northeastern quadrant is one of the most dangerous parts of the hurricane, in addition to the eye wall, the fastest speeds that went over the southwest in St. Elizabeth, in Black River, in those areas. So anyway, I said, what's your damage assessment? We want to help. What's going on? She said she had lost all of the awnings and the fixtures on the outside of her windows. One window was blown out. But again, she was not in the eye of the storm. Some of my other cousins who were, like I said, higher up in the hill country, we haven't heard from them. My direct family, they have cousins on their other side, so to speak. So they're my relatives via their mom. They have not heard from their dad's side. Things like in Monique, they're hearing that there were flooding, and they didn't get anyone yet, as yet. So our prayers are still very much with Jamaica. The rescue effort is underway after the Hurricane Melissa tore through the region as one of the most powerful Atlantic storms in more than 150 years. This is according to CNN. Torrential downpours and forceful winds have already unleashed widespread destruction along the storm's path, not only in Jamaica, but also in Cuba and our brothers and sisters in the Bahamas. We want to make sure we remember all of the islands that are affected. And like I say, Hurricane Melissa is now on its way to Bermuda. So we're thinking about the family, our extended brethren in Bermuda as well. Melissa is now headed to Bermuda as a Category 2 storm, where it won't make landfall, but will bring quick-hitting bursts of strong winds and rain as soon as this afternoon, Thursday afternoon. This is according to CNN. Authorities in Bermuda have closed the causeway, a transportation link. I've actually last year I went to Bermuda on a cruise. It was a girls' trip. Beautiful island, beautiful people, wonderful history. And I know exactly the causeway they're talking about. It links several parts of the island, but it's a long, basically bridge over water. So they've closed it. Bermuda's main island that links St. David's Island in preparation. All schools and ferries will also be shut down on Friday, among other measures, an abundance of caution, says Michael Weeks, Bermuda's National Security Minister. So we're looking at some of the devastation in Jamaica. Jamaica has been the hardest hit. The island of Jamaica took the heaviest battering with Hurricane Melissa making landfall on Tuesday as its strongest. This is one of the top 5 hurricanes, in history. The millibars, I don't even understand the total what the millibars mean, but the millibars were under 900, indicating the strength of this hurricane when it made landfall as a Category 5. And I'm hearing the death toll now. I'm going to see if there's any updated. They had counted 2 people in Jamaica who were unfortunately lost their lives in accidents in preparation for the hurricane. But there have been a couple of human beings remains found since. The death toll I was hearing, including Haiti and Dominican Republic from flooding. I was at my last night. I went to get a facial, and I was talking to my facialist, and she's from Dominican Republic. And I asked her about that. I was like, how come there's so much flooding? Is it the terrain? Is it the type of soil? Why was there so much flooding early on where there was almost no one at all, no direct impact yet? Is it the type of landscape, meaning I know that Jamaica has a lot of clay, depending where you are, rock, stone, limestone, where the bauxite is, etc. Different types of terrain, but some very very firm grounds, right? But she was explaining to me, and again, any of my family in the Voice of the Caribbean family from DR can also chime in. You guys can call me with any reaction you have to the hurricane. If you are planning to do trips, if you are part of a nonprofit that is working on any type of relief efforts, whether you're working with maybe a church or you're working with another NGO, non-governmental organization, you can call me 850-446-0562. We want to get the information out to the people. I'm going to give you some alternatives if you're looking for places to donate in the second half of the show. Welcome, guys. If you're just joining, this is Suzette Speaks Show. Today's show is dedicated, of course, to the survivors across the Caribbean of Hurricane Melissa, the Cat 5, one of the top 5 strongest hurricanes. Estimated sustained wind at 185 miles per hour. According to CNN, one survivor, Mr. Alfred Hines, 77, who lives in Jamaica's Montego Bay, we haven't even talked about Montego Bay yet, told how he waded barefoot through mud to escape rising floodwaters. Speaking to Reuters on Wednesday, he said, at one stage, I see the water at my waist, and after 10 minutes' time, I had water around my neck here, and I make my escape. That is one survivor in Montego Bay talking about the rising floodwaters due to Hurricane Melissa and its devastating impact along the western side of Jamaica. And authorities have yet to reach the worst affected areas. So far, this is what I was trying to get to when it comes to unfortunate loss of life. So far, according to CNN, 4 bodies have been found in the St. Elizabeth Parish in the aftermath of the hurricane, according to a government source and what they told CNN on Wednesday. 3 people also passed during the storm's preparation, but the government has not provided a death toll since the hurricane battered the island on Tuesday. That's according to CNN. As I said, around 25,000 tourists. You guys are watching some of the I go over hot topics and social media trends on my show. I want to talk about the government shutdown. We are 7 days away from this being the longest government shutdown in American history. This is now, this Friday, tomorrow, payday right now, is going to be the first time many people who work, over 1 million people who work for the federal government, are going to be working and not receiving a paycheck. Some are furloughed, some are not going to their job. But for the air traffic controllers, the TSA, the mandatory people that have to show up to work, tomorrow will be for them. Depending on their pay schedule, it will be either tomorrow, Friday, or 2 weeks, Friday, will be the first time they do not have a paycheck. Now, mind you, when the government reopens, that money is restored, back pay. But in the meantime, bills are still due. The bills still come. The rent, the mortgage is still due on the first of the month. So we're thinking also about federal workers. What do you think? Do you think they should reopen the government? Also, this November 1st is the first time that food stamps, the SNAP benefits, supplemental nutritional program, will stop, will cease, will pause on November 1st for more than 40 million Americans. Did you know? See, I was talking to my facialist, my esthetician last night. I was trying to get my skin together. And she didn't know. I said, girl, you got to look. I said, food stamps about to stop. What we used to call food stamps, SNAP benefits. 1 in 8 Americans, 1 in 8 Americans have some form of SNAP. What is $100 for the month, whatever, depending on when you have kids, you're disabled, you're elderly, your income, people who cannot based on their age, based on their disability or the size of their family, et cetera, and their income level. With the way grocery prices, y'all know Thanksgiving around the corner, right? I want to play some of the discussion on the House floor and on the Senate floor. The House is out of session. Excuse me. The senators. The House is not working. Some of them are there working, but it's not in session because the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, won't call it into session. I can't. Let me calm down. The people are gonna suffer soon. We got our brothers and sisters in Jamaica. We got to think about them, but I'm also thinking about our fellow Americans here. What's happening in the government is unacceptable. We have a shutdown that is going to be, soon to be, the longest in history. We have over 1 million federal workers whose paychecks are on hold because of the shutdown. They still have families. They still have bills. What is it going to take to have either the Republicans blink first or the Democrats blink first and come to some sort of agreement? Democrats are saying they won't. Listen, I got to take a break. We're going to take a quick pause for the cause. We're going to talk more Hurricane Melissa. You can reach me at 850-446-0562. If you have any information about organizations, groups, churches, whoever that are going to be headed to Jamaica, we'd like to know where people can give, and I have some ideas for you too. This is Suzette Speaks every Thursday and Friday from 1 to 2 p.m. Keep it locked. More Suzette Speaks show right after this.
To Miami, 101.5 HD2. The voice of the Caribbean. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, X, TikTok, and YouTube. This is the all-new voice of the Caribbean.
Sorry. That's how I get copyright every time. I let it go. My hair looks a mess. Y'all don't judge me. Y'all please don't judge me. Y'all don't judge me. I don't look my best today. I don't feel good. It's all good. This how I go. This is like you just show up and you do your job. Lord help me. I'm going to talk a little government shutdown just because it really bothers me. I have to talk about it. Let's do government shutdown. I'm going to do a little bit of government shutdown. Let me do a little bit of government shutdown because that's where my heart is. How y'all doing? Happy Thursday. I look terrible, but I feel okay. God is with me. Every time I feel like I have something to complain about, I think about these people in Jamaica who have no home, who have no place to live. The triviality of what I'm worried about doesn't really bother me as much when I think about people who are having some of the most difficult times ever. So let's switch gear. Well, actually, let me tell them about Hurricane Relief. Melissa Relief Miami. Hurricane Relief Miami, South Florida mobilizes. How to help. Let me see. I'm going to use the local 10 link. How y'all doing? Thank you. I think it was Ernest. Thank you. I didn't see the name, but thank you for the well wishes. Several of you guys DM'd or checked on me. I appreciate that very much. Life in the tropics, man. Life in the tropics. And I still got events I got to hold. I still got stuff I got to do. Let me give people some information on what they can do to help. Hurricane Melissa. Some of the items include generators, trash bag. We are working on American Friends of Jamaica. So AFJ, American Friends of Jamaica, is another one. Global Mission Doral. For information on how to contribute to these, Greater Miami Jewish Federation as well has set up. Oh, really? Greater Miami Jewish Federation? Okay. Broward County Food for the Poor. Somebody at the door. Who's at the studio? Somebody at the studio door? Who's at the studio? Somebody is knocking. I got cameras up here. When you see me looking, there's like 9 cameras. Trying to see. Hey, good afternoon, Smooth Approach. Thank you, Ernest. I thank you so much. I appreciate the love for the family. Okay, Juicy Patties. Okay, so I can get them some information on where to do relief. Okay, nonprofits, World Food USA, American Friends of Jamaica, International Medical Corps, Salvation Army, Global Giving, and United Children's Fund. Okay, so I'm gonna go over. I'm gonna give some places as where people want to know where they can donate and how they can help. All right, so da da da. Let's do that. And I want to do government shutdown. Government shutdown update because that is on my hand. Almost hits it's on the 30-day mark. All right, we're back.
Mad, we could not do that. Foundation from birth. Yeah, man, a low culture. Say, we're representing for the vice of the Caribbean, Jamaica and far beyond.
This is WLYFHD2, Miami. This is the all-new voice of the Caribbean.
I gotta turn down the Bob Marley because I always get copyright struck for that, and I forget it. For the Bob Marley. So day 30 of the shutdown, John Thune said he's not open to passing the full government spending bill until Democrats agree to fully open the government, throwing court water and some strategy to partially shut down. Widening impacts food for millions of America could be paused this weekend, though legal battles unfolding and Trump administration refuses to use emergency. Uh-huh. Who is outside making noise? I can hear them. Oh, girl, it's loud.
101.5 HD2, the voice of the Caribbean. Caribbean station, the voice of the Caribbean.
Yes, good afternoon and welcome back. This is the Suzette Speak Show Live. I'm grateful that you're here. This is a very important show dedicated to the survivors impacted by Hurricane Melissa. If you were just joining me, I'm Suzette Speaks. I'm an attorney by profession. I'm a community advocate. And I love talking about hot topics when it comes to politics, social media trends, and of course, news you can use. If you feel the pain in my voice, it's real because just speaking to family and friends on the island of Jamaica today, the devastation, I can't even use a language. Some of my cousins who have been able to text and share what they've seen and what they know. And the irony is, I was speaking to my cousin in Ocho Rios this morning. I had one in Kingston I was able to get through to as well. And the one in Ochi, she's like, you know more than me because they don't have any power. She was running on her neighbor's generator. Her generator broke. The neighbor's generator was he was basically giving her some light and it went out. And I was like, yo, save your battery, cuz I'm glad you're okay. She gave me a full update. But things I was asking her about and I was telling her about, she was like, you know more than me because they don't have any news. They don't have any information. Of course, cell service is down for the majority of the island. I'm going to share with you some of the nonprofits that just shortly that are doing some work here in South Florida. If you feel led to, we would love your help. Of course, Juicy Patties locations across South Florida, I'll give you some of the locations shortly, are going to be our main hub for dropping off materials and supplies so that we can help those who have been badly affected by it. The words can't even summarize because my aunt's house, I did get a picture from Brownstone of my aunt's house on a hill. And again, they weren't in the thick. They were on the northeastern side of that rotation. And her whole, like parts of her house, roof gone. And I can't imagine how scary it was. My cousin in Ochi lost a window blew out, all of the awnings, all of the fixtures across her windows came off. And she has no light. She ironically smiled at me today. She said she has a water cistern, which is basically a water tank that they capture rainwater in, throughout the wet season. So when it's dry, you still have water. She was like, girl, Hurricane Melissa took out my pipe to my water system. Basically, one of the valves that keep the water in the tank, in the cistern, it malfunctioned. So all of her water, she said after the last hurricane, she had water for almost 2 weeks and she didn't have to worry about not being connected to the main city water and a parish water. But she said, girl, Melissa took out my tank till I don't have any water, as she even had prepared properly and had the ability, thankfully, to get a tank, an adjacent tank to her house as holder of excess water. But she said all of the water leak out, all of the water gone. So we were just talking, like I said, if you are just joining me, I've been just doing some updates. I want to get to what's happening in the country as well. Outside of Jamaica, I want to talk about what's happening here in the United States. This is day 30. We're at a full month now of a government shutdown here in America. This is day 30. And when I look at it, this is not looking good. The leader of the Senate for the GOP, I see you, caller. I'm going to put you on hold. If you have information and you want to share, you can always call me here at 850-446-0562. I'm going to give you a moment, just a second, caller. I wanted to just to highlight some other news that we are staying on top of, but we're going to focus today on the hurricane aftermath in Jamaica. It has been one of the most devastating Category 5s, the most devastating to ever touch the island of Jamaica, but in history. It's now made the top 5 strongest at landfall. It has just been horrific to see the impact on Southwest Jamaica, all the way through Montego Bay and all over the island. But also wanted to mention again, the shutdown still looms. What does this mean? The Democrats and Republicans have not agreed on a bill to fund the government. And they are at an impasse because Democrats want to continue the Obamacare, what we call Affordable Care Act, basically the government health program, Obamacare. They want to continue to fund the subsidies that have made the cost of the program affordable for people. They believe in access to health care in this way. So they're saying we want to renew, as a part of the funding bill, the Obamacare subsidies, right? We subsidize. The government pays some of the premiums, so the person who has the insurance policy doesn't pay higher costs. Well, the Republicans do not want to renew the Obamacare subsidies, and this has been one reason why the Democrats say they're not going to approve a budget that doesn't include healthcare subsidies for the American people. In addition to that, the widening impact is that, as I told you, food stamps, the benefits of SNAP, the supplemental nutritional program we used to call food stamps that 44 million Americans use. It could be paused beginning this weekend, though there is a legal battle because a lot of the states who are run by Democrats are saying, and I think it might be some Republican states either too. Hold on the call. I'm coming to you next. Are challenging the Trump administration, according to CNN, for refusal to use emergency funds for the program. So there is SNAP money there. There's food stamp money there. But the Trump administration is not using emergency funds for the program. Meanwhile, federal workers are going unpaid, and many of them are in the food bank lines. We've been seeing it on social media. They're expressing their fear and frustration about how they're going to make ends meet, especially as we come up to the Thanksgiving holidays and the Christmas holidays. No paycheck for our federal workers. We're on day 30, almost 1 month. And right now, Mr. Donald Trump is heading back to the U.S. after meeting with Chinese leader Xi Jinping in South Korea, with the U.S. president saying they came to an agreement on almost everything, including tariffs and rare earth minerals. I'm going to get to some of that probably tomorrow. But let me take my caller. Caller, you're live. How are you?
Good afternoon, Dawn.
Nice to speak with you. How are you doing today?
Oh, Suzette, I'm calling you I'm listening, but I'm emotional. I can't sleep from the other night yet.
I hear you.
I have family in the little district, Jamesville in Clarendon.
Yes.
My dad is 93 years old. They lost the house, the top of the house. All my sisters, nephews, nieces, my daughters, I'm telling you, they lost the house.
Oh my gosh.
They lost their house.
And that was insane. That was in Clarendon?
Jamesville, Clarendon. I'm thinking if anybody here come from that little district in the parish of Clarendon. I'm not gonna give nothing. I'm packing my little barrel that I started before the hurricane, and I'm gonna take my time, finish it, and send it down there.
I hear you.
I have people in St. John, Brownstone, Top Road, they're right back out. And I'm telling you, my friend, she could only get a little call to call me. And she said, oh my God, my house gone.
Oh my gosh. That's in Brownstone. That's in St. Anne. Wow.
Yes.
I saw my auntie house on top of a hill. She live up the top of the ball field. I don't know if you know that side. Um, and yeah, big nice house and it mash up. When I saw the pictures, several of her rooms just exposed. Like I cannot even imagine. I'm like, I know they stayed there during the storm. So when you hear Rihanna Goshan roof lift up and you see water coming into your house, lightning and exposed. That was overnight too. When I think about it, I was like, God, this was overnight. How scary. As they and yes.
And go past the school and go up.
Yes, yeah, I it's so scary to think about. My mom's side go more up was it 9 Mile, Claremont, York Castle go right up. Yes, that's our side. That's our side. And we haven't spoken to anybody. I had one cousin who contacted our some church sister or something of our mothers, and they said lots of roofs off, but mostly folks are okay. But we haven't heard from like the Monique people. We haven't heard from them. So it also leaves us in yes, exactly.
Nothing there.
Exactly. So without the cell service, it has made it even more kind of nerve wracking because we don't know. So you may want to, believe everybody okay because one person report most of the people okay, but until you talk to your people, the cell service is a very big issue right now. I think my same cousin from yes, my cousin from Kingston was saying something about Starlink and how we can help with the cell. I don't know. I forgot research and see what he want. He said, you know what he told me? He said, don't sell no barrel of food yet, food and clothes, more lumber, um, like nails and steel are things that are home building and repairing. He said those are probably much more. My family, we're gonna have an emergency like meeting. My family very organized. We're gonna have a meeting Sunday and really get down to who you don't want to leave out anybody, and you want to make sure we have a kind of structured understanding of so everybody get help, so people so can help all of the cousins in different ways. Some need more help than others. So we're gonna get together Sunday. I just was talking to one of my big cousins and we're like, no, we have to talk about it and see, because so many people right now want to do something and they don't know what to do. So I'm glad you're gonna send your barrel. I know one of the airports, the Kingston Airport, Norman Manley Airport, is functional. Thank God. So, but the other thing my cousin said is just the roads. You cannot get to the people. Yeah, that's the other thing, the clearing of it. But then some of the roads have been so damaged that even you might have to fly supplies certain places in some of the more remote and highly affected areas. But pray, sis. We're praying for your family. We're in this together.
In the school, they all bundled up in the school, my twin daughters and my grandkids. They're all in the school for shelter, nowhere to live. My dad, 93 years old. I'm telling you, I'm telling God for they are alive.
Yeah, yes.
The next step is somewhere to live.
Heartbreaking. Wow.
And I'm praying and I'm talking out and the voice of the Caribbean radio station. I don't want to hear the Jamaica people and want the government to do it overnight because they like to run up their mouth and talk like that too.
Well, that's a true. Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. And thank you for sharing your story. I appreciate your calling today. And Godspeed. I know God we have a lot of hands. A lot of help is coming still. I hear what you're saying. But the immediacy, sometimes you just don't know where you're laying your head tonight. So it's like right now, right now. But this thing, the way it has devastated so much of the island, it has to take time. It's frightening. I know there's a lot of people in dire need right now, but there are a lot, and I'm going to go over it shortly. I'm going to let you go. Thank you, Carla. I appreciate you. Thank you for sharing. All right, we talk again. Yes, God bless you. All right, thank you so much. Yeah, those are the stories, guys. What she shared is real. No house, nowhere to go back to is real for a lot of people. It is going to be important that we support not only in the immediate future. I'm talking about right. I was booked to go for Christmas. I was gonna go to Jamaica Christmas. I asked my cousin them, you think I should come? He was like, maybe you should. Cause they're going to need the tourism dollars. Even while I'm there, I could probably do some community work and such. I'm contemplating it still. I don't know. I'm contemplating it still. At the said time, I wanted to go over a few of the reputable sources for where you can give if you were thinking about how can I donate, what should I be doing. I'm overwhelmed. I may be from Jamaica, I may not be. I want to help the people. How to help. Nonprofit organizations across South Florida are preparing to help the victims of Hurricane Melissa, right? So according to Local 10, this is a good local outlet, local10.com. This is where I'm looking. There's all kinds of resources of places that you could even go physically to their warehouse and help pack the boxes. You can do that. You can donate money, right? So Hurricane Melissa made landfall again as a Category 5 in New Hope, Jamaica. It later weakened to a Category 4, but Montego Bay was also a part of enduring the hurricane's eye wall. You see that eye wall? Dangerous. 175 mile per hour winds. That's when at about 5 p.m. when it came through, and it was very frightening. You can just see online. I encourage you. I had to stop looking at it because I was crying this morning. I was like, I can't even get out of bed. Before I even said my prayer, I'm here watching some of the devastation via Instagram, on my Instagram feed, on my Facebook feed. There's so many people that need help, but help is coming. And I do agree with our caller. But we're going to get to some of the sources. Let me get to that before I end the show, okay? So how do you help? Some of the items needed include, listen up, generators, new trash bags, right? Batteries, work gloves, tents, new sheets and blankets, non-perishable food, bottled water, tarps, solar-powered flashlights, first aid kits, new, not used, them don't want to broke come or what are you saying? What are you saying? Use, how you say use goods? Jamaicans have a way of saying that. All broke, there we go. But them don't want to all broke. Hello, all right, anyway. New sleeping bags, industrial sponges, yeah? You got it? Personal hygiene kits, items for babies. You guys can imagine if you had no home, if you had nothing, what would you need, right? So one of the organizations, American Friends of Jamaica, AFJ, I've actually hosted one of their big fundraising galas. I did it a couple of years ago. But anyway, according to former Ambassador Wendy Hart, we're on the ground working already with partners to ensure we can address the highest priority needs, says former Ambassador Wendy Hart, President of American Friends of Jamaica. Our Consul General for Jamaica in Miami, Oliver Mayer, Jamaica's Consul General in Miami, said some families were still recovering from last year's Hurricane Beryl, and that was July, and Hurricane Raphael. I don't even remember Raphael, which was in November, which is crazy. Another organization called Global Empowerment Mission, that's in Doral. You can email info@globalempowermentmission.org. Once again, info@globalempowermentmission.org. You can visit their website for ways to contribute. I was interested in this one. Greater Miami Jewish Federation. The Greater Miami Jewish Federation has set up a hurricane relief fund, promising 100% of the donations will go to provide critical aid. Thank you, Greater Miami Jewish Federation Relief Fund. Thank you for that. We also have Food for the Poor. This is an organization my mommy used to give to all the time. I think I might, once I have my family meeting on Sunday, we have so many branches. Remember, you may not. If you're new here, my mother is one of 10 brothers and sisters. So when I keep saying cousin, baby, we got cousins on cousins. That's what's, back in that time, my grandmother and my grandpa, they were busy, right? They didn't have no internet, all of that, right? So we come from, many of us, in a couple generations back, we have folks who had multiple children, right? And grandparents are parents with multiple siblings. So family roots run deep. And my mom's side is a St. Anne origin, like we were just talking with the lovely lady Brownstone. If you guys know those parts, Claremont, Monique, York Castle, that's my stomping ground, 9 Mile. That's where we're from. So hard to get in contact with people right now. Cell service is very spotty, if existing at all. So half of the battle is not knowing where your people are. It is very, very heartbreaking and nerve-wracking. You don't know it. Again, we have so many also elderly people. When I think about it, Jamaica's got a lot of wonderful octogenarians. How you say the 90-something? Novagenarians? Some 80s. People in Jamaica live long, right? When you pass certain like 75 odd, they live long. We have a lot of My grandma died at 96, honey. So I was thinking about all those elderly folks who battled this storm. My God. Anyway, going back to where we can give. Food for the poor. Headquarters, Lyons Road, Coconut Creek. Greater Good Charities. That's in Wilton Manors. As I told you, Greater Good Charities, Wilton Manors, Food for the Poor, Lyons Road, Coconut Creek. As I told you, Juicy Patties Restaurants. There are 7 locations now in Broward County. Juicy Patties is located Miramar, City Hall Promenade, Sunrise off of Sunset Strip, Lauderdale Lakes, straight off of 441, close to 41st. Lauderdale on University Drive, Hollywood, on Hollywood Boulevard, Coral Springs location, as well as Davie location. Any Juicy Patties. Remember the list of items. City of Miramar is also going to be collecting. Thank you, City of Miramar. Whether you can drop it off at the police department, at the City Hall Promenade, Miramar Fire Station, any of them look like. Stations 19, 6700 Miramar Parkway. Miramar Fire Station 70, 9001 Miramar Parkway. Miramar Fire Station 107 at 11811 Miramar Parkway, as well as Miramar Fire Station 84 on 27th Street and the Miramar Fire Station 100 on 184th. I'm almost out of time, y'all. Big up City of Lauderdale, not little. I want to say Little Jamaica. Why I go on Lauderdale? They call it Little Jamaica. City of Lauderdale will be collecting. City of Lauderdale City Hall, Veterans Park as well. In the City of Lauderdale on 50th Street, John Mullins Park, 55th Avenue, West Wind Park in Lauderdale as well. Lauderdale Historical Museum on 47th Avenue and Joy's Roti. Big up Joy's and the extended Caribbean family for looking out. Thank you, City of Lauderdale and all of the partner places, organizations, nonprofits, non-governmental entities. Anybody who's in this fight together with the people of the Caribbean, we need you now. This is not a fix overnight, as our Carla said. No. We also see that the Jamaican government itself has launched an official donation portal. Support Jamaica. You can look Jamaican government. Is it jamaica.gov, I believe. The Jamaican government also has a support page if you want to donate directly there. And so many others. I want to big up Mr. Marlon Hill. I saw him on Facebook. He's another fellow attorney like myself. I think he has an organization called Caribbean Strong, who also I've been seeing they're getting their supplies ready. Let me look him up really quickly and give you that information. But there are ways that you can give back as little or as much as you can, right? We know it's a tough situation. I didn't even get a chance to get really into the what's the shutdown really about, as we are in day 30 of the United States government being shut down because the two parties, Democrats and Republicans, are not agreeing on how and what should be funded by the American taxpayer, the American dollars from taxes, what it should and should not be going to. Republicans have presented a continuing funding bill. Democrats say no. Unless you choose to include the Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act subsidies for everyday Americans to be able to afford their premiums. If it's not included, the premiums on Obamacare are shooting up almost 100%. So Democrats have chosen, they're going to hold the line. Republicans are saying open the government, and then we'll talk about how to subsidize, if they're going to subsidize the Obamacare premiums for the everyday person that's on Obamacare. 4 million plus people can lose their Obamacare now. This weekend, November 1st, first time where food stamps, what we know as food stamps, which is called the SNAP program, it's not going to be funded. Republicans do sound as if they're going to stay firm on that. There is supplemental emergency money that could fund the SNAP program, but they're choosing not to. There's money there. And it's become, like I said, a very, very big, this is when American people are going to feel it. 40 plus million people, 1 out of 8 Americans, 44 million approximately, receive some sort of supplemental nutritional assistance program, SNAP, which is what we used to call food stamps. It's cutting off this weekend if nobody makes a move, Democrats or Republicans. I'll get into that a little bit more tomorrow. My heart is heavy. But Hurricane Melissa relief, remember to support. There is something called U.S. Caribbean Strong Relief through the Miami Foundation as well. South Florida Caribbean Strong.org, excuse me, it's SFL Caribbean Strong.org. Excuse me, SFL Caribbean Strong.org. Yes, and there are so many more. So do look up, like I said, I've been reading from local10.com, which is the local news station that covers most of Miami, Fort Lauderdale. They have a wonderful list of organizations where we're going to get it started. Of course, our family here at the Voice of the Caribbean will also be supporting. Remember, you can also drop off items at any Juicy Patties that are in Broward will be accepting donations. We are a human race, guy. We gotta look. There's no human being that don't need another human being at some point. You hear what I'm saying? We are, what they say, no man is an island. I include women in that. We are not islands by ourselves, literally and figuratively. We need other people, and this is a time where we can step forward to help the Jamaican people. They are in desperate need. I encourage you, look up and find whatever reputable organization to help the devastation in Jamaica. Thank you for listening. I'm Suzette Speaks. I'll be back tomorrow, 1 p.m. Suzette Speaks come on every Thursday and Friday from 1 to 2 p.m. Have a peaceful rest of your day.
Caribbean, better sounding radio.
W245BC, Lauderdale Lakes, 96.9 FM, the all-new voice of the...
Hey, Scam Likely. Long time no see. Hey, Pastor Damien. Thanks for watching. I'll see y'all tomorrow.